Well, the Jets didn't get Jadeveon Clowney, but where the hell are they pivoting next? We investigate here on Boy Green Daily.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rodgers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever seen.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey everybody, Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcasts. And welcome to the program. I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. All right, let's get right into it. The New York Jets missed out on Jadeveon Clowney yesterday. Signed a massive 2-year deal for $24 million, maximum $24 million guaranteed. Now, I want to say this off the top. We don't know the specific details of this deal. The only detail we know is a maximum of $24 million, and that's a 2-year deal. Before we lay judgment and say, we wouldn't pay that, that's too crazy. People said that about the Tyron Smith deal initially. It was reported as a 1-year deal for maximum $20 million. And a lot of people were making fun of the Jets immediately. What an overpay. What a this. And then as we waited, patience of virtue, eventually it came out, actually, it's only $6.5 million guaranteed. You're like, okay, not bad. Not bad. I would have been fine with the $20 million just because of how important of a need it was for the Jets, but a much better deal. Much better deal, what it proved to be for the New York Jets. So let's see what this deal is for Clowney, because, boy, he would have been a nice fit. I'm going to lay it out there. I don't think we got to cry rivers about it. I don't think there's got to be a whole show Titanic, pull out the violins, the ship's going down. I don't think we got to get that crazy, but I think it is fair to mention how nice of a fit it would have been. He's coming off a 9.5 sack season. Very nice. He's an elite run stuffer since the moment he came into the league back in 2014, which would have been a nice boost for this Jets defense. So both of those combinations of items would have been spectacular for the New York Jets. And boy, I think we said it before, but I think this proves more than anything to me. The big thing here is that the Jets are headhunting for a pass rusher. They were up all over Shaq Barrett. They were up all over Jadeveon Clowney. And I wonder what is the next pivot, which we'll get to here on the show and talk about some of the best free agent pass rushers that are still on the board for the New York Jets potentially to filter through. So we'll be doing that some of the show today. Let's go over to NC, part of the Boy Green Superfan Club. Appreciate you guys, being members of the show. That is your opportunity on YouTube. NC says, we should have made more of an effort to sign Clowney. Can McDonald be an every down back? I'm sure he means player, but the fact of the matter is that no, I don't believe Will McDonald will be an every down player. We will see how he transforms. That's something, obviously, we're not going to see. He's working with Jermaine Johnson this offseason. He told Ethan Greenberg at the end of the season he's expected to take a leap, both naturally speaking from year 1 to year 2, and also because the Jets need him. The Jets need him. They got JFM, who I liked the message from JFM yesterday, where it's like, hey, look at me, pal. Everyone's overlooking him. And quite frankly, everyone is. When we talk about edge rushers, we're like, oh, boy, we got Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. And then JFM's in the back, excuse me. Yeah. Hello, I'm here. And because he kind of floats both, I think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Play some inside, play some outside. But yeah, JFM, he's going to be a big piece to the puzzle. But I still think the Jets need one more guy. And a proven guy, like a bona fide guy. And those names are fleeting. And we'll talk about that here in just a few moments as we pull it up from Spot Track. Good morning, everybody. CVO, Phil, Jared B, everybody, top of the morning. Chris Gadna from Heavy on Jets Facebook page. We appreciate all you guys. Kevin Rocco says, hey, let's just pivot. Let's stay what we have at pass rush or go for safety Simmons or Diggs. That's just not the Jets' bag. The only way, and I don't know if I'll end up tweeting out this clip, but I'll say it for the Can't Wait podcast. Zach Rosenblatt said basically it would be extremely unlikely that the Jets go after like Simmons, which is a big popular name, unless he took the veteran minimum or incentive laden deal. And Simmons obviously is not taking the veteran minimum. That's insulting to who he is. He has the most interceptions since coming into the league in 2016. So that's not happening. If that's the only way it happens. So I don't think they pivot to safety. We know how important pass rushers are to this defense, Kevin. So I don't think they're going to chase Shaq Barrett, get nothing. Chase Clowney, get nothing. Go, all right, I guess it's good. Like maybe they do, because that's what they did with the offensive consultant coach that they were bringing in for the room, right? They aggressively pursued people. It didn't happen. Like, all right, Todd Downing and Nathaniel Hackett will do. So maybe they do that as well, Kevin. But that would surprise me. I think they're still going after us. Don't think they're headhunting for a pass rusher. Zebo says, Boy Green, I'm currently making sweet, passionate love to my wife while also commenting on YouTube. We appreciate the multitasking there. A lot to be seen. Gator McCluskey joining us. Good morning, BG. We lost out on the clown. That's a good nickname, but still crushed the offseason. Cheers, good man. Yeah, and the offseason ain't over yet, baby. So I love it. I love it. It ain't over yet. I really love what they've done so far. They got my number one guy I wanted, which was Tyron Smith, and that's great news. They got a splash guy who I loved when he was here in Morgan Moses. That was a surprise. I didn't see that coming. And I didn't really know much about John Simpson outside of the draft year. I remember him coming out, but I didn't really follow his career once he went to a different team, not named the Jets. And then he makes his way here. Kuka, Lake Jet fan, asked, you see a pivot to Yannick or Dupree? Well, let's go to the free agent big board. Here are the big names available according to Spot Track remaining. Okay, all these other guys have been signed. Emmanuel Ogbah, he was cut by the Miami Dolphins. I'm just looking at, I don't have all their stats in front of me, but I'm just looking at it from Spot Track. So Emmanuel Ogbah from the Dolphins. There's Carl Lawson still out there, but I don't think he's coming back. Randy Gregory, there's the San Francisco 49ers connection. He's a really talented player, but he's gotten some trouble. Ngakoue is the most interesting to me because he's Clowney-ish in terms of not against the run. He's terrible against the run, according to PFF. So you're not getting that elite run stuffing that you were getting with Clowney with a guy like Ngakoue. But the thing that you do like is he's basically a hired assassin as it pertains to pass rusher. And that's really intriguing to me. And over the last 3 years, I think he has 23 and a half sacks. I think that's a number I ended up tweeting out yesterday. So he could be, and he's coming off a lesser year. I think he only had 4.5 sacks last year, which maybe helps surprise because remember, Clowney last year, believe it or not, signed a 1-year deal with the Ravens for $2.5 million. Next year, he signs 2-year, $24 million. So maybe someone could come to the Jets dirt cheap, use the Jets as a leaping stone or a stepping stone to get a big money deal. So that's possible. Bud Dupree, like you mentioned, is on this list. Now, someone else mentioned this name last night, and I'd kind of moved on because I didn't think it was possible, but the more I think about it, that maybe this door is still open. It was Calais Campbell. Now, Campbell isn't a traditional edge rusher in that sense. He's a big boy that normally plays on the inside, but maybe you could kind of move him around a little bit as TJP. I'll give them the shout out here, the Jet Press. They said in that JFM role. And again, I really wanted Calais at the beginning, but then the Jets went in all these different directions, like Likey Fotu, Javon Kinlaw, bringing back Solly. So I was like, oh, I guess the Calais Campbell's dream's dead. Okay, close the book on that one. And then they said that. I'm like, open back up, maybe. So that could be a pivot. Obviously, the Jets showed a lot of interest last year. But if you have him in that JFM role where he's kind of rolling, and then the snap percentage, just maybe that could still work. So I like that one. Jerry Hughes is out there. He's an old man now. He's 35, according to Spot Track. Bud Dupree would make sense. 31. And then it just drops off. I mean, even some of those names I said drop off. Like Marcus Golden. Shaq Lawson again? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm just scrolling on this list trying to find notable names here. And there really isn't a lot. Like on the same page as Bradley and I, the former Jets undrafted free agent pass rusher. Bruce Irvin's old ass is on here. Justin Houston. I mean, boy, there are some names. But if anyone can get, make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what? Perhaps it's the New York Jets. So, yeah, the list is not great. And I go over to PFF to see if I missed any of the other free agent guys. It looks like all the top ones signed as I'm going through this list. Chase Young was interesting for a while, but he got more money than I thought. He got the 1 year, $13 million fully guaranteed deal from New Orleans. That was rich. I was surprised by that. Josh Uche would have been nice. He signed for nothing to go back to New England. Apparently, he declined less money or went there for less money and declined more money from others. Yeah, all the big name pass rushers are gone. The highest guy available still in PFF's top rankings is Carl Lawson, actually. So I don't think that's happening. So yeah, it does not look good from that perspective. Not a lot of sexy names. Clowney was like the last Moby Dick that they could have went after. All right, let's go to Snowball. You know it's pass rusher at 10, baby. And I'm going to be honest, I just wrote an article for Heavy on Jets. It's already on the site, but it drops on our Facebook page at 8:45. Connor Hughes said that Clowney signing with the Panthers opens the door for the Jets to take a pass rusher at 10, and oh my good golly. Like, Snowball, you're joking, and I was joking when I was tweeting back and forth with someone yesterday, but are we joking? Like, would the Jets actually do that? Oh boy. Oh boy. By the way, I asked the fans. Let's get to the fans. Let me see. I did a poll yesterday. Let me see how many votes it's up to. I asked the fans about this. Okay, here it is. Yeah, we got over 600 votes, almost 700 votes. Okay, here it is. I'll throw it up on the screen. I asked after this Jadeveon Clowney news, like, okay, Jet fans, let's be real. What are the chances the Green and White actually take a defensive player with the number 10 overall pick in the first round after the Jadeveon Clowney news? And you had three choices. Oh, it's happening, 0% chance, or 50-50, I could see it. 9.1% of the fans said, oh, it's happening. 64.6% of the fans said 0% chance that it happens. And then 50-50, 26.3%. So the majority says no way. But 26% says, yeah, I could see it. That's kind of scary. Because, again, I think I talked about it yesterday. Really, the only thing the Jets could do where I'm like, oh, no, not again, is defense. If they go, I'm trying to think here. If they go wide receiver, awesome. They go tight end, cool. They go offensive line, okay, I could see it. If they even went quarterback, like, wow, all right, okay. And it depends who the guy is, of course, and who fell or did anyone fall, whatever. But defense, I'd be like, wow, okay. Especially after Woody Johnson went offense, and everything with so many resources and all that. I just, wowza. That would be crazy. So, yeah, I think what Phil says is right. It's time for McDonald to be, which is unfortunate for McDonald to have these crazy expectations thrown on. Like, first rounders have expectations. I'm not trying to hide that. But, like, yeah, Bryce Huff had 10 sacks. Can you get us 12? Can you get us 10? I don't even know what expectations are among fans, but I assume it's like, hey, replace Huff, pal. And that's tough. That's tough. Will we be taking a defensive tackle in this draft? I think it's on the table. I heard Mina Kimes and Trevor Sikkema, good friend of the program. They were talking about the Jets draft needs. And they talked about offensive line, obviously. They talked about wide receiver, safety they threw in there. They didn't mention it, but yes, I think defensive tackle's on the board because if you think about the room for a second, so you got Quinnen, long-term deal, Kinlaw, 1-year deal, Solly, 1-year deal, and then Likey Fotu may have signed a 2-year deal. That one I can't remember. Actually, that was a 1-year deal too. So yeah, there's no future to the room beyond Quinnen. So 100%, I think that could be on the table. Could certainly be on the table for a long-term option. Yeah, all the guys have like legitimate guaranteed money. So all those guys are making the team. Fotu's making the team. He had like a $2.5 million deal, $2 million guaranteed. Obviously, Kinlaw's deal was crazy. Who was the other one? Solly. And I'm pretty sure Solly had solid guaranteed money. So they're all making the team. So that's the other part you have to factor in, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely possible on the table. Yeah, Jackson jumps in. Jets fans better watch film on Turner, Verse, and Laiatu. Can't rule out edge at 10. Yeah, that is Dallas Turner of Alabama, Jared Verse, who was at Florida State, and previously Albany, so Connor Rodgers' guy, who was also who went to Albany, and then Latu, who is the UCLA guy. Whew. Wow. That would just be, oh boy. That'd be I asked Trevor Sikkema a couple weeks ago. I said, what would be the pick that makes you go, whoa? Like, and this was before everything. This was before the offensive tackles. This was before Mike Williams. This was before everybody. He said, well, if you're asking me for a surprise pick that makes us all go, wow, defense, that would be it. That would be it. NC says maybe Clowney didn't like the rotation idea. I mean, he knew what it was. So if I'm Clowney, I don't even make the visit. Maybe you do because you want a free steak dinner, I guess. But like, you don't even make the visit if you know that's what it is. I think it was a pile of money, a multi-year deal, and for him going back home because he, he's South Carolina born and bred through and through. So I don't think it was a rotation thing. I think that part of the Jets fan base is dead and over. Like there's no way, it is what it is. Russell Nagy asks on YouTube, what's the plan for Clemens? I thought he was going inside. He goes in and out as well. So they move him all over the place. And he plays, I think is what either he said or Salah said, he plays every position on the defensive line, which takes obviously extraordinary amount of tape study and playbook knowledge and things of that nature to know all your different jobs on the line. So apparently he's going everywhere. So I don't know what that means heading into next year because they normally run 10 deep. So because again, the guaranteed money, so you're having Quinnen, you're having Fotu, you're having Solly, you're having Kinlaw, you're having Quinnen, so I got to go through all the names. I got to get like let me see if I can do the roster real quick. Is he in danger? That's a good question. Let's see. Jets roster. Let me see the defensive line as it is. Let me see. Let me do the quick math here on that defensive line. Let me see. Okay, I got it in front of me here. So, okay, let's go. So let's start counting these out. So I think that they're going to keep probably 10. All right, so let's go. So we got, so I'll go Likey Fotu, 1. JFM, obviously, 2. Let's go Kinlaw, 3. Okay, let me see here. I lost my place. Will McDonald, 4. Solly, 5. Quinnen, 6. And I'm probably missing because they split this up on the screen with defensive ends and defensive linemen. So, yeah, those guys on there too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got a place. He's got a place on the roster. We'll see. Yeah. I just did the quick math. Yeah, there's spots to be had. So he's not kicked out or anything, but he has inside-outside versatility. You guys are crazy with this passionate lovemaking. I got to update the shop. Get new merch in there. I will do that. Jared B says, last I heard, they told Clemens to lose weight. Guess he's going back outside. And I remember him bulking up was last year, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I don't know. I have not heard anything on that. Let's go. Jackson Valente. Jets do like to sign veteran defensive linemen like Maryland Terps, Chris Jenkins, Q. Jeff, Yannick. Could be. And they had a chance to bring back Hugh Jeff and maybe Chris Jenkins. I think he'll go too high from everything we're hearing. But if he slips to pick 72, that would be such a fun one. If Devondre Sweat slips, that'd be a fun one. Chris Jenkins, the son of Chris Jenkins, Chris Jenkins Jr. I don't know if he goes by Chris Jenkins Jr., but Chris Jenkins Jr., he'd be a fun one too, coming out of Michigan. So, yeah, baby, it's on the table. John Sauer, part of our Boy Green Super Fan Club, says Clemens, another guy the Jets have screwed up. I really like Clemens. I like his mentality. We've had a connection. We follow each other on social media. I like Clemens a lot. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but I really like Clemens. And I think he's got upside. And Matthias is basically calling him a tweener, caught him between multiple sizes. That could be as well, which can hurt him. I'm curious where they put him. Matthias says there's no way they go past rush. God, I hope so. God, I hope you're right because, boy, I think all the majority of resources should be invested in the offense. The defense is going to be really good, and you have to tinker, again, another safety, like is Ashton Davis back? Do you draft a guy? Interior defense line, maybe, do you believe in Zaire Barnes? If you don't, another linebacker maybe at the end of the draft. Like, there's some tinkering there, but, like, overall, it's good. Like, the offense, just more. I would be fine with, third round. Okay, let's get a guard. Fourth round, let's take an offensive line swing. Like, let's just get more bodies in for depth, dart throws. Maybe you randomly hit a dinger. You know what I mean? So I really want some investments on the offensive side of the ball. I'd like to see a lot of picks there. NC. There would be a mutiny of epic proportions. Maybe that was the heightened discussion between Salah and Woody, which, by the way, everybody, was BS. So I'm going to be honest. Let's talk about that real quick. So, I'm just on social media sometimes. I'm doing a lot of work, and then sometimes I try to hang out with my family when I can. It's just impossible with all this Jets work to like balance that life. But I'm over there and I'm scrolling, and I see Jake Asman go live and says like Colleen Wolfe, crazy NFL argument, Salah and Woody. I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't hear anything about this. So at first, before I listened to the Jake Asman show, I Twitter search. I'm like, what is he talking about? Nothing. There was zip and pip out there. I did a Twitter search for Salah, Woody, angry, heated argument, nothing. No one had even tweeted. It wasn't even about a top thing. I checked posts. No one said a word about it except for Jake Asner was talking about it. I'm like, holy, what is he talking about? So I clicked the show, and I must have missed some of it. So I had to go back to the beginning. I'm like, what is he talking about? So I hear the 2-minute clip from around the NFL where Colleen Wolfe, NFL media personality, she's in there going, yeah, I overheard something. And then Dan Hansis, a Jet fan, is going, well, what'd you hear? And then it's just back and forth for like 2 minutes of like, I heard it was a heated chat from a reliable source. And he goes like, okay, where was the chat? With who around? Where were they? She's like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden they were like, so it was an argument. I'm like, no, I wouldn't say it was an argument. Oh, so it was a passionate conversation. They were going back and forth. I'm like, what in God's name? Only the Jets, man, would have this crazy-ass story come out. Thankfully, Connor Hughes came out and just crushed it. He's like, there was absolutely no heated argument. I was there the entire time. No, that did not occur. That did not happen. So it was good to hear Connor come out and womp that real quick. So a bunch of that was a nothing burger. But it was just my reaction was my tweet. What in the flying Jets hoot? What happened? And Salah and Woody. Okay, first off, Salah's a guy that never gets into arguments in general. It's very rarely that he's kind of exploded at press conferences. He's kind of mute, which people hate because they want that emotion. But he's very reserved normally, and you can't really get under his craw. The only time he did it was when Rich Cimini says, wow, you're not really showing a lot of emotion. And then he like shows emotion. Like, what? Do you want me to flip over this table, this podium? And then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, easy there, Salah, you freak. So like, for the most part, he's very calm. So finally, the time that he would explode is with every head coach and general manager all centered in one location at this league after party. That makes no sense whatsoever. So, which is basically what Connor Hughes said. First off, he said it didn't happen, and also, if it did happen, why would it happen with all these people? They could have just gone in a separate room if they really had some heated thing to talk about. So, long story short, absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But hey. That caught me off guard though when Jake was talking about that. I'm like, I didn't hear anything about that. I don't normally listen to, with all due respect, the Around the NFL podcast. So I guess if I would have heard that, I would have seen it. But yeah, I don't normally listen to the show. Every once in a while, I'll listen for a random power ranking Jet content episode. But yeah, not normally. I'm not normally on that show. NY Jets FL. If the Jets trade down, maybe we could take an edge rusher in the second. Oh, sure. Yeah, maybe that's possible. If you entertain that, boy, I just hope it's not in the first round. That's kind of like my take is, boy, that would feel, and here's my fear. I'll just say it. It's in my article, but I'll say it right now. And I said it to Trevor Sikkema. My fear is that in Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 2.0, not his latest one, but his 2.0, he didn't have a defender in the top 10, which means now that the Jets have covered their main holes, offensive line, wide receiver, right? There's no glaring thing. Oh boy, if they don't come away with this, it was a disaster. I don't think anyone's saying that. So with that as the backdrop, and then Daniel Jeremiah saying, yeah, sure, it's possible no defender goes in the top 10. Again, in a more recent mock draft, he does have one defender going, Dallas Turner to Atlanta, which I probably think is going to happen. But let's just play it out and say it doesn't. I could imagine Salah going to the front of the room and saying this, hey boys, we have the first overall pick. And everyone goes, no, we don't. We have the 10th overall pick. Well, and then Salah responds, well, we have the first overall pick and the defensive draft. And they're like, oh, like they would have their pick of the litter. And that would be some sales pitch of like, boy, we could get the best defender because like we trust our defense. We trust our selection process. Like, yeah, sure. We could get the second, third, fourth receiver. We could get the second or third offensive tackle. Or as Salah says in the front of the room in this made up scenario, we could get the first defender. And that scares the crap out of me because, like, that could be a compelling argument to the room. So that scares me a little bit because I do not want that. So hopefully, Atlanta goes Dallas Turner at 8, and then there's just no conversation. Like, you can't even say that. Like, sure, you could say second, but everyone else is saying second. Second offensive tackle, second this, second that. So that's what I'm hoping. But that's my fear. I'm like, oh, God. Oh, please no. Snowball says, pass rusher at 10. This is the way. This is the Jet way. God, I hope not. John Sauer. JD would need bodyguards if he goes DL. Yeah, that press conference, because they do a press conference right after the first round. Oh boy. Oh boy. That'd be tough. That would be tough. Yeah, everyone's responding in the same way. Frank on our Heavy on Jets page. Boy, if the Jets take a defensive player 10, JD's brain should be examined. Yeah, that would be wild. Yeah, it would be wild. Let's see. Jared B. If you think Woody and Sal are fighting at the owner's meeting, just imagine the fight in the draft room when Sal tries to go defense again. Yeah, that could be funny. That could be funny. Let's see. Clowney chased the money, and I don't blame him. Chase the money, man. After playing for $2.5 million, try to get all you can. Chris Gadna on our Heavy on Jets Facebook page. For a late-round developmental quarterback, I like Pratt from Tulane and Travis from Florida State. If we get stuck with Wilson again, I'm taking a sabbatical year. They were at Pratt's pro day at Tulane, the Jets, so they had representatives there. And Jordan Travis, they're hosting for one of their top 30 visits. So they're investigating both options, so keep an eye out. I just, it just seems unlikely that Zach Wilson goes QB3. Or is QB3 rather for the Jets. I know what Woody said, but again, I think the ruse is up on draft day, which by the way is less than a month away, which is crazy. We're really getting on top of this thing, but there's just no way. There's no way because I believe the Jets are getting a quarterback, whether it's UDFA or late round or somewhere third round. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to pick him, but I believe they're getting a quarterback. And when you have that quarterback, the ruse is up. Rodgers, QB1, Tyrod Taylor, QB2, whoever your rookie is, and then Zach Wilson. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't make any sense. So I think that's when the ruse is up, right? Like Woody can hold strong for another month. It's not exactly a month. It's a little less than a month. But he can hold strong to the draft and say, oh, we're keeping Zach Wilson. We're not going to cut him if we don't trade him. Like, so he can say that. But like I said, once we get to the draft, the rest of the league's like, okay, you're going to roll in with 4 quarterbacks? Yeah, we'll call your bluff, pal. And then they will inevitably potentially cut him or trade him for nothing. We'll see. I don't know, man. We'll see. But yeah, I don't believe this. I don't believe the sabbatical will be necessary for a Zach Wilson reason. I believe he will be gone sooner rather than later. Well, I guess I can't say that, but we'll just see. Francis Colon on Facebook. I'm comfortable taking offensive line in the second round. Yeah, Graham Barton out of Duke. He could play all 5 positions, trade back, and he's it looks like he's projecting at center from the latest thing I saw. He plays all 5, but it looks like he's going to center at the next level. He could be a fun little Swiss Army knife. It would have to be to get in the Graham Barton territory, it'd have to be a massive trade back, and then hope your second rounder isn't super late too, because normally your pick correlates to your thing, right? So the Jets have the 10th overall pick now. And I think the pick that the Packers have is like 41. So obviously it like equates. So if you trade with someone in the 20s, unless they have a unique scenario where they have an early second, you're getting a late second. So that's the part where you're going to have to fudge around a little. But yeah, Graham Barton would be super interesting. That would be super interesting. Mitch Staff, Jets don't have the money for Clowney. I have no idea how they can re-sign Reed as it is. Well, the thing about re-signing Reed or Michael Carter II or Tyler Conklin is you can work money into the future. So, of course, you can make those signings happen. It's not like all of DJ Reed, who I'm assuming you're talking about. It's not like if you sign him to a 3-year, I'm going to make it up, $45 million deal, all $45 million on the cap this year. That's not how it works. So you could kick money into years and years into the future. So they did have the money for Clowney, and they do have the money for Reed. They do have the money for MC2, but you have to make a lot of business decisions. Sauce is coming up eligible next year. Garrett's coming up eligible next year. Jermaine's coming up eligible next year. And Breece Hall next year will only have 1 year left on his rookie deal. For any draft pick that is outside the first round, they get a 4-year standard contract. Any first rounder gets a 4-year plus the fifth-year option. So the Jets have in their back pocket, the fifth-year option for Sauce, the fifth-year option for Jermaine, and the fifth-year option for Garrett. You probably don't want to push it that far because you can piss off your players. It's probably benefits you to pay them early because the earlier you do it, the longer they're under team control, they're happy. It also the market's going to get crazy. Justin Jefferson's going to get paid some unbelievable number. Jamar Chase is going to get paid some unbelievable number. The sooner you can pay Garrett Wilson, the better. And by the way, they can't technically even talk to Garrett about an extension until next offseason, but I'm just saying it as a point. So they have the money, but they're going to have to make some business decisions. And as Joe Douglas said, Jet fans get used to this. We can't keep everybody. Ultimately, we can't keep everybody on the team. So who's getting kicked out? That's a big question. I don't know. They haven't touched DJ Reed. That one surprises me. I thought that one was for sure one they'd touch. So maybe he's out after his contract. I don't know, man. I have no idea. Is that a tag and trade? I don't know. Like L'Jarius Sneed, what he went for. I think DJ Reed's a really good player. I'd love to keep him, to be honest with you, but it's interesting that the Jets haven't touched on one here. Because Michael Carter II, it makes sense you didn't touch because he's only owed like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million this year. So like any extension would likely increase that number and hurt you in the now. So that one makes sense. Hey, let's extend him in June. Like, okay, that one makes total sense. There's no rush. Let's extend him. It doesn't matter. Like DJ Reed, he's got a $15 million cap hit right now. It would have benefited the Jets greatly to extend him because you could have lowered that number and kicked money into the future. The fact that they didn't, to me, is like the little journalistic antenna is going up like, why'd they do that? The Brian Windhorst waving fingers? Why didn't they sign him? Why didn't they extend him? That should have been a deal that got done. Surprised it didn't. Curious what it means. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe in the third round, the Jets surprised to take a corner. We're like, whoa, ho, ho, ho. Like, think about this. Different positions, but a long time ago. I'm sure you guys will remember this. The Jets drafted Joe McKnight, God rest his soul, in the fourth round. A lot of us went, Joe McKnight. We have Leon Washington. And moments later, we traded Leon Washington to Seattle. And we're like, oh. So sometimes you get a pick, you're like, oh, no. A lot of people say, even though technically Bryce Huff left this offseason, people say that the epitaph for Bryce Huff was actually written in 2023. The moment that Will McDonald was drafted was the end for Bryce Huff. Maybe we didn't know it. Like in a movie, you're like, something happens and it's like a foreshadowing. You're like, oh, that person's going to be dead. And that person is dead. Like a woo, woo, woo. That could be one of those signs. It could be. So it could be the epitaph there. So we'll have to see. Johnny says opening day got ruined by rain. So yeah, happy opening day to all our baseball fans in the audience. Yeah, there's a lot of weather involved, so we'll see. I'll also be some of these shows you will see, not any of the morning shows, but some of my afternoon shows. You'll be seeing me at the radio station moving forward because I work for the AAA affiliate of the New York Mets, the Syracuse Mets. So we're still doing all our normal shows, so you won't be ditching me that easily. But the afternoon shows, you'll see me in a much different background. I'll be at the radio station, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, happy opening day to any of the games that are out there. I don't know. Let's see. William, definitely trade down for extra picks for more options. Now, William, I'll just say this. Everyone says let's trade down, but it takes two to tango. And yesterday, Zach Rosenblatt said he was skeptical that the Jets will have realistic trade down options because he questioned who's coming up and who's coming up for what. It's a fair point. It's a fair counterpoint. And Joe Douglas has never traded back before. But does it happen? I'm curious. I don't know. But just to throw that out in the universe, I'll probably write a story about it today about trade back because in Badlands, their war room draft, they had the Jets trading back. So I'll probably talk about that and include the Zach Rosenblatt nugget and the idea of trading back. We'll probably look into that. Let's see here. Let's catch up on some of these comments. I'm a little behind. Matthias says, I don't think we're done in free agency. I believe we're still bringing another D lineman. And Saleh, by the way, said we're not done at several positions. He said we're not done at running back. We're not done at safety. And what was the other one? We're not done on the offensive line, maybe. I can't remember the third one. But he said for several positions, they're not done yet. Oh, quarterback. It was quarterback, safety, running back. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. It's basically what he said at all those positions. And wide receiver, I think, was another one. So, yeah, we're not done at a lot of positions, I think. Let's go to Jason, heavy on Jets. I'd love to see tight end Brock Bowers at 10 overall, but if they think they could address another spot, tight end Stover from Ohio State would be a good get in the third round. Maybe they do. So, like, this has been my overall take. I didn't want it. I've been kind of saying this all week that if we go tight end, get Bowers or no one, basically. Now, they may think differently because Tyler Conklin is on a 1-year deal, or he's in the last year of his deal, rather. Ruckert, after this season, will be in the last year of his deal. Let me think. Who else in the room? Kenny Yeboah is on a 1-year deal. And then who's the fourth guy? Kuntz. So there's really no long-term guy in there right now, unless you count Ruckert, who only has 2 years left on his contract. So maybe they should be thinking like this, Jason. Again, I'd be intrigued with Bowers. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a sexy pick that gets us all riled up, I think, for debates of good, bad, and different. I'd be excited about it. But I don't know if I'd go for a tight end like in the third round. If we don't get a tight end early, like Bowers is the only option, then I would be fine waiting forever to get one, personally. I'd go to other positions. I would address other needs. But I like the call out. Hey, add another Ohio State guy there for Ruckert. Oh, yeah, Deion Dawkins. Hey, man, the only way to shut him up is just, like, let's roll. And, again, the schedule comes out in May. I can't wait for those episodes where we break down the schedule live with each other. Oh, that's one of my favorite shows. That's one of my favorite shows. I'm very much looking forward to that. I think it's going to be week one, run it back, Monday Night Football, Buffalo Bills. That's what my gut says. We'll see if that's true. Let's go. Flocky on Twitter says, the argument happened. Don't be a fool. I know the argument happened when a reporter that was there said it didn't. And then Colleen Wolfe didn't even say she saw it herself. She said she heard it from a quote unquote reliable source. And then she made it seem like it was an argument at first. And then she backed up and said, oh, no, it wasn't an argument. I'd say a heated, passionate conversation that could have been about anything. I mean, that's pretty gray. I mean, I don't. Like, I think she was trying to make waves on this podcast by saying it. Like, ooh, here's a nugget I have. But then she had no details on the nugget. So it was kind of a weird. Yeah, I saw two guys, have an argument over there. Oh, what were they arguing about? Oh, what was an argument? Okay, what was it? I don't know. Like a heated, passionate conversation about what? I don't know. Okay. So, no, I know the argument happened. But apparently not. I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't know anything. But again, why would they be arguing? I just don't understand. But oh my God, everyone's asking about the ferrets. I know the sounds. Like it's just bizarre. Like people have no idea what the thumping sound is like. Because when I used to do the show at Buffalo, he would just think that it's the Bob Ross, like he's like drawing out like a paintbrush or something. So he'd make a joke every time, and people don't understand, right? You just see this on camera, you don't see over here. It's just they're now all back asleep, thank God. But they're making all kinds of ruckus. I'm trying to do a passionate Jets take over here, and I'm getting all this ferret action. Shadow Realm. The second Colleen Wolfe said, what my canaries are telling me. It was I thought she was trying to do like a funny Game of Thrones reference. Like my, what is, Valeris? Am I getting the names right? I haven't watched Game of Thrones in a while. Like Veneris? Whoever, right? My little birds tell me this or that. I thought she was trying to make a joke, but maybe not. I don't know. Italian Eddie Ralph. Have you seen that guy from Georgia named McConkey? Yeah, Lad McConkey. Sure I have. He's an exciting player. I haven't given him much thought just because he's in the no man's land. Like the Jets pick at 10, and then their next pick is 72, and there's just this massive gap. So I'm going to be honest, I've gotten a little lackadaisical on the ooh, this is possible or that. I mean, it would take a massive trade back for like a McConkey to enter the conversation, because even if you trade back, 7, 8, 9 spots, you're talking about like Brian Thomas's and receivers of that range. So like McConkey's in the perfect position where he's so far out from the Jets from the first, but he's way far out from the third. So he's kind of sandwiched in no man's land unless they get again a high second round pick. He's a fun player. A lot of people brought him up as a possibility, but unless they have some sort of major trade back, I don't see where he enters. Same thing for, unfortunately, like Ricky Pearsall. That's another one. Unless they get a really good second round pick, I think they're out of that one, unfortunately. But I do like the McConkey kid. Oh yeah. You guys, I see all the draft day references in here. You guys will get plenty of that. I watch Draft Day, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watch it every Thursday of the first night of the draft, somewhere during the day before the draft, and I watch it, and it is phenomenal. and I love watching it. No matter where I am, I have it. I have it on DVD. We could get it on stream. Oh yeah, YouTube. It even is on. Oh yeah, baby. Yes, I love it. Frank, do you know if there's any truth that the Jets have had multiple offers for Zach, but Woody is waiting for better offers? That is all false. Woody Johnson. So there was that report, and also in the same report that Woody has been the one nixing them. That has been Woody denied that straight up, and so did Joe Douglas at the NFL owners meeting. So it seemed bizarre at first. Like, what? They've got multiple offers for Zach Wilson, like, because of the stink of it. Like, again, even if they had multiple offers, what are these offers? A 7th round pick? And why do you hold out? Hold out for what? Spots are filling up. You better take that deal now while you can. So no, I don't give any validity. I gave initial validity because I like Mike Florio. He's the one who reported it at Pro Football Talk. I enjoy when he hops on the Rich Eisen show. I'm a huge Rich Eisen show fan. So I watch most of his interviews that he does. I consume his show through YouTube mostly. And I normally watch all his content, his what's more likely segments, his overreaction segments, his big interviews. He gets a lot of fun guests that I would love to have on my show or I enjoy listening to. And Mike Florio is one of the ones when he's on, I'm like, oh, awesome. Albert Breer, he's got a lot of good guests on his show. So I gave credence initially like, whoa, he really heard that? But it was like, are you sure, Mike? That doesn't make any sense. And then immediately we get the confirmation from Jets people. Zach Rosenblatt shot it down. And then a lot of the Jets people themselves shut it down. So, yeah, that is not true. Yeah, I think they are going to try. I don't think they're going to hold on. I think they will hold on to him now because, like, there's no benefit to cutting him or not cutting him. But they're holding out for a trade. And if a trade doesn't happen at all, I don't think they're holding out for a better offer. I think they're holding out for an offer, like a singular offer. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. How much did Yannick make last year? Good question. Let's see. Let me do a quick search on Yannick Ngakoue. Okay. Let's go contract. Okay. Whoa. That can't be right. Maybe it is right. Let me see. On Spot Track, he made $10.5 million. Oof. Yikes. $10 million guaranteed at signing. My God. Yikes. Okay. Well, apparently that is how much he made. And he had like 4.5 sacks last year. So I don't think he's getting that kind of money. $10 million guaranteed. Woo. It's a little rich. A little rich for my blood. Hey, different strokes, I guess. Wow. Yeah, that's a little rich. All right. It's a smokescreen trying to build up. Moosty gets us a 6 or 7 for Zach Wilson. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I prefer when we get to keep the homegrown drafted stars. Brees will re-sign next offseason. Maybe. I'm curious the order of these guys. So Brees hits the market sooner, but they have the franchise tag in the back pocket, and the franchise tag is cheap money. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really even have an educated guess of, like, who goes when. I'm not sure how that works out. Like him to Sauce to Garrett, because you want to get Sauce and Garrett locked up ASAP. I know they have the most team control, but like those are the most important pieces to the cog. And I'm not trying to like diss on Brees. I'm a huge running back. I'm a former running back myself. I love running backs, but I'll be curious how they organize the order of people. But boy, non-negotiable are Sauce and Garrett, and then from there, I would love to keep Brees, but Sauce and Garrett are number one. Ricky, New York. Yeah, cornerback is a sneaky need. Shout out to Dom C. He's been saying it in our mock draft situations that he's a possible option. Ricky, New York on YouTube says DJ Reed and Carter both have expiring deals. We got to pay Sauce. Quarterback is a sneaky need. He is, or it is rather. And so keep an eye out for that. That could be pick 72. That could be like a corner. And that could tell you. That could tell you what they're doing there. I could definitely see that entering the equation. FPP, Packers, Jets, Super Bowl, New Orleans. And I'm going to try to hit some of the NFL stops. I have never been to the Super Bowl for participant or for media or the combine or the draft or anything. I'm hoping to, hopefully we build up the channel enough and do all this wonderful things where we could put ourselves in a position to do some of those live events. That would be thrilling, quite frankly, professionally and personally to do that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. Yeah, fingers crossed for us making some trips. There you go. There's the ferrets. I love all the jokes you guys have of what they were arguing about. That's funny. Let's see. Lord Varys. Thank you, Shadow Realm. That was bothering me. Lord Varys. That's it. Yeah, I love Game of Thrones. Thank you. Let's see. Yep, more ferret there. Why do we need our second rounder back? Again, I think Brian Costello said it well a couple weeks ago to me that they're not desperate. This was his team source telling him they're not desperate to get in the second round, but if it happens, okay. But like they're not desperate to do it. And I hope they're not desperate. I hope they're not trading to 25 to get a crappy 50th second round pick. But if the right situation, like here's a possibility, right? There's this buzz, like somehow the fourth quarterback falls to the Jets. I don't think that's happening. But like JJ McCarthy's on the board, and you're getting calls from Minnesota, you're getting calls from Denver, you're getting calls from the Raiders, and they're all going like, "Woo, we'll trade you something." And then like that heats up the price, and you move a shorter distance than normal, and then you pick up a second. There, I'm all about it. Sure, yeah, let's do it. But no, I don't. But I don't think you have to. But I'm fine if you do. That opens up some other possibilities. Bernard Nixon, do you think Rodgers last year in Green Bay was a bad year? But, well, a bad year for his standards. Not a bad – I mean, look at the numbers. He had like 26 touchdowns and all kinds of numbers. And, again, he had the busted thumb since like week 4, 5, 6, whenever that Giants-London game was early in the season. So, again, we will see. We will – ultimately, we're going to see, was that a season we can excuse, like with injuries and young players and all that, which I do, or was it a sign of things to come and Aaron Rodgers won't be as good? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think that, but hey, different strokes, different folks. Fans of the Green Bay Packers joining us. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy for the upcoming season, and I hope that's genuine, and I'm sure it is from the fans of the Green Bay Packers. I saw the crappy Packers bar celebrating their Rodgers injury and stuff. That stuff was messed up. So I'm not aboard that train. But yeah, I'm excited for what he can do. Yeah, a lot of questions with the draft just a month out. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Who's better, Rodgers, Breeze? I think Aaron Rodgers is a better pure thrower of the football. Drew Brees has more 5,000-yard seasons, obviously. I believe there's been 9 or 10 in NFL history, and he has 5 of them. So Drew Brees is really good, too. If I had to pick a quarterback to, win me, I'd pick Rodgers. And it's not just it's not just that he's our quarterback and Drew Brees isn't, and that's why I'm picking Rodgers. This would have been my take before he ever came here. I just think Rodgers I love everything Rodgers brings to the table. Again, Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer too, so we're arguing with a first world problem here, but I'd lean Rodgers probably. I like Drew Brees a lot though. I love his story, starting out and then San Diego, getting dumped, ends up going to New Orleans and Hurricane Katrina and being able to help that city turn around and Morstead obviously there and Steve Gleason. Oh, the stories are awesome. My brother Brody, who lives down in South Carolina, is a massive New Orleans Saints fan. So I've got that special connection to the Saints. So I really love and respect everything that they've been through. Do I think Rodgers is washed? I do not. But again, I guess we'll see. So it'll all come through us. But I don't think so. But like I said, the proof will be in the pudding. People don't want to hear talk anymore. People want to see action. So Ricky, New York. Boyd Green, the first game you ever went to? God bless you, Ricky. To go to the then Redskins playing the LA Raiders. Awesome. What a Super Bowl. Marcus Allen. Oh, that's awesome. Good for you. I've never been to a Super Bowl. I've been to a lot of games. I've been very blessed. My first NFL game I ever went to was a Cowboys-Jaguars preseason game in Jacksonville. It was raining. We had these nosebleed seats. It was really cool. But it was so cool to be there. I've been to all kinds of Jet games. I've been to Syracuse football games. I've been to the Cowboys game. That was an unbelievable Week 2 experience last year. I wish Rodgers obviously would have been playing in the game, but, is there a fish out of your tank? Oh God, yeah. It's just I have no explanation anymore for the weird sounds that happen over here. Johnny says, I think I'm the only one that would not be upset if we went defense. Well, good for you, man. But me, I just I don't want it. Because here's the thing. Let's say Dallas Turner's the pick. Let's play this out. He's getting the Will McDonald treatment, probably, where he's playing a limited amount of snaps. And they have a program where they get these guys ready to be on the D. Like, Will McDonald have the fewest snaps of any Jets first-round pick, or any pick, quite frankly, since, Vernon Golston. And to me, there's no way in an all-in season you could do another thing. And I don't care if Dallas Turner's Lawrence Taylor. Like, there's no way, man. No way. You're getting that player ready for the next coach then, because I ain't going to be the Jets. So I want some offensive investments. I think I wrote it in my story. What would it be? 1, 2, 3. If the Jets took a defender in the first round, it would be their fourth defender they've taken in the first round of the last 3 years. Fourth. Last year, Will McDonald. You had the Sauce and Jermaine year, and then you'd have that fourth first rounder, which would be like Dallas Turner. 4 first rounders, that's overkill, man. The defense is great. And you've hit on guys like Quincy Williams, waiver wire. Michael Carter II, 5th round pick. JFM, waiver wire. Now you've hit on first rounders, and that wasn't even the Jets hitting on first rounders. This predated this regime, but Quinnen Williams was a first rounder, and Sauce was a first rounder. Sure, you could count that one. But like DJ Reed, free agent. Tony Adams, undrafted free agent. You don't need first-round picks. You've already invested first-round picks. Invest it on the other side of the ball, man. So, yeah, I would be upset. I'd be upset. I'd be curious to see how the rest of the draft played out, of course. But, man, I'd be like, boy, I don't love that. Yeah. Yeah, Drew Brees wasn't great there. Let's see. Okay, I finally caught up to you guys. All right, great. Yeah. Connor said it on Twitter last night. For those who missed it, he completely shut down the entire heated argument that apparently took place. I'll read it to you guys so you have it. Let me we'll get that. It's on his Twitter timeline, but I will read it out to you guys. Okay. Here it is. There was no verbal argument between Robert Saleh and Woody Johnson at the NFL's annual meeting reception. I know because I was at the party where this apparently happened. Feet from Saleh and Johnson. Before Johnson and Jets contingent left, Woody took them out to dinner. Checked in with 2 sources that were out to dinner. Confirmed nothing happened there either. That from Connor Hughes. So that was Connor Hughes. I think he had another tweet. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Robert Saleh, this is Connor Hughes on Twitter. Robert Saleh has been grilled after gut-wrenching losses on the podium with fastball after fastball these last 3 years. Never once has he lost his cool. I would say the one time he did was the angry thing and threatening to throw over the podium, but I think that was it. Anywho, that was just my random opinion in the middle of that. But anywho, back to Connor. He receives justified criticism for a lot, but he always keeps composure publicly. You guys really think he's going to blow up at the owner of his team at a party filled with every GM, head coach, and owner in the NFL, along with every reporter covering those teams? He was being obviously rhetorical with that as well. So, yeah, that did not happen. But Connor's Twitter is where you guys can find that. Everybody, we have 500 people watching in the room right now. Make sure and let me get that number correct, the 150 in YouTube land. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe down below. That's a free way to contribute to the program. So make sure you help support and spread the word. The New York Jets gospel, baby, because we're live every single day at 7:30 in the friggin' morning. Plus, we'll be live in a couple of hours. We'll play some buy or sell with the things Joe Douglas said at the annual league meeting. There's some fun stuff there. I'll have that with Woody at 3 o'clock, so we'll be back live here on the program. And guys, love it. Make sure you guys keep checking out the program. We freaking appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. We got Italy Jet coming on. We got my father coming on over the weekend with another embarrassing Boy Green story, which I'm very much looking forward to, and I'm sure all you guys are too. That comes over the weekend. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming here, and we'll see what else the Jets do. We're less than a month from the NFL draft, baby. I got to add the draft chimes to the sound effects. I will definitely do that so we can start using that moving forward. Will do. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.